Right, Google is next. So this is an interesting company, really an internet search utility. Everybody talks about Google. It's a verb in the English language and probably other languages too. Its core product, though, is online advertising. It's the people that pay them for those clicks away from searches, and particularly in their dominant markets in Europe and the US, people pay to be featured high up if you're searching for car insurance or a plumber or something like that. Big business in cloud computing software as well with the Android platform. Interesting developments with regard to restructuring and reorganizing the company. We'll have to talk about the Alphabet thing. $428 billion worth of market cap. So there you go, 650 or so down to 428, but still one of the world's largest companies. Price to earnings ratio somewhat more elevated, 31.83. The founders, Larry and Sergey, have not yet deemed it suitable to pay a dividend, so we have no dividend yield. These boys rate themselves very highly. So talk to us about the company generally and that Alphabet shift. What is that all about?
I'm really looking to restructure the business and focus on the traditional money-making machine, which is search, Android, YouTube, I guess the traditional core. And then the really cool things that they're doing,
which are like driverless cars, aging projects,
the fancy
Google
glasses,
Glass, exactly.
and looking to focus, I guess, the R&D and the strategy around all of those cool new projects in the new business, and have that separately run from the traditional core business. I actually think I'm not a big fan of these big strategy shakeups. I think it's a good excuse for some consultants to get paid well, but I think it makes a lot of sense in this regard.
Because I think partly what worried investors in the past is you've got the single entity and then you've got all these projects that basically just chow cash because the boys think it's exciting to develop, their latest scheme dream. But now, by virtue of this reorganization, those entities, their actual financials will be disclosed. That and the fact that the new CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Ruth Porat, who came from Morgan Stanley, very highly regarded. The idea is that she's a grown-up now in the C-suite, and she's going to make sure that, maybe they'll throw them a few $100 billion just for, playing money.
Between friends,
But no more than that now, you hear? So then at least there'll be greater transparency with regard to the numbers, which will allow the character to come through.
Sure, and actually from a valuation perspective makes it a lot easier. You can make inferences around both businesses and see how much value you can assign to this new business.
Okay, but they have such a dominant position in search that the commercial opportunities linked to advertising around that. Then you add the Maps service, which is ubiquitous, Gmail, which is very, very, very widely used. In the old days it was considered a bit passé to have a mailbox that wasn't like corporate branded, but now everybody has a Gmail address and that's all good. So you put all of that together and you really are like, in a way, Google is like the internet.
Exactly that. I think where they've been particularly smart, let's not forget that on the mobile side, Android is the largest operating system around in terms of devices that run Android. And simplistically, to operate your Android, you have to have a Gmail account.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
So
it becomes default, and then the maps are default, and then their storage solutions are default, etc.
So almost everything is designed to be interlinked. And I think where for a few years there was a bit of a concern was the ability to generate revenue off the mobile side of things. But there seems to be gaining quite a bit of momentum and traction on that side of the business as well.
Okay. I also own these, so do our clients. We own mostly the GOGLs, but it doesn't really make any difference. They're two classes of stock. That's going to be rebranded Alphabet, so we'll see how that plays. But hot or not?
I'm hot on this. What we didn't touch on both of these businesses is the phenomenal margins that they both make. So it's not just the growth and revenue that they get, but they just make so much more money than their peers from that revenue. So I'm hot on both of these.
Hot on this one too. Good. Right.